Hello friends and welcome back. If you are new, hi! My name is Allie and I am the founder of Aquarian Soul, the original crystal-infused apothecary and author of Plant Magic for the Beginner Witch and Herbs and Crystals DIY. My channel is all about herbs, crystals, and plant magic. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you 3 recipes using roses. Right now, roses are in full bloom here in California, and maybe they are too, wherever you are. We will be making rose water, rose petal jam, and rose tincture. Before we get into the actual recipes themselves, you're going to want to get yourself some rose petals. And I'm using these Cecile Brunner roses. I'm not really sure how you pronounce it, but these are some really beautiful garden roses from my backyard. And I know not everyone has access to their own garden-grown roses, but if you can find any kind of organic farmer's market rose petals from a neighbor, or if you have some source, just make sure there's no pesticides because you are going to be eating these and spraying these on your skin and you want everything to be as natural as possible. And for all 3 projects, you're going to want to use only the petals. So make sure to remove the petals from the stem and throw out any leaves or any green parts. And save any of the rose petals that have any little holes or blemishes because we can use that for the rose water. But the more pristine, beautiful rose petals you're going to want to use for our edible recipes like in our jam or our tincture. For the edible recipes, make sure you're rinsing off your rose petals. You want to get rid of any of the pollen or any little bugs or dirt or anything that could have come with the rose petals from the garden, and then give them one final rinse under running water just to get any of that stuff that you've been soaking off the petals. Once your petals are clean, we're going to start with the rose petal jam. So to start, you're going to want to get 2 cups of sugar. You're going to want to use white, just regular old cane sugar. And in a small stock pot, you're going to add 1.5 cups of water. And then add in your 2 cups of granulated sugar. And you're going to turn your stove on to medium-high and just give this a stir until it's dissolved. Once it's dissolved, you're going to want to see that water come to a low boil and start to simmer. Once this happens, you can add in all of your rose petals. You can use any kind of rose petal for this. I'm using a very small, delicate type of rose petal, but the larger, thicker rose petals might actually work better because they're more colorful, and these ones lose their color quite quickly. They turn into a very, very pale pink. And as you can see right now, the rose petals are going to lose all their color. They're going to turn almost white. But just wait, once we add in one small ingredient soon, their color will come right back, so don't get nervous about that. But if you're using a bigger rose petal that's more of a bright pink color, your resulting jelly is going to be a lot darker of a pink than the one I made. And you're going to add in 1 teaspoon of pectin and also mix it in with some of your sugar. So I just used 1 teaspoon of sugar to the 1 teaspoon of pectin. And this is where the magic happens. You're going to add in your 3 tablespoons of lemon juice, and as you can see, it's already starting to bring back that pink color, but it's kind of disappointing because, as I said, my Cecile Brunner type of roses are a very light pink, so the jelly's not going to be a super bright, beautiful pink as if you used a different kind of rose, but it still adds that little magic when you put the lemon juice in. And you're going to let your jelly simmer for about 25 to 30 minutes. And to check to see if it's done, you're going to take a plate that you've left in the freezer for about 10 minutes and just drip some of that boiling sugar water onto the plate. And if it's still runny like this means it's not ready. So just leave it on for an extra 5 or 10 minutes and the jelly shouldn't run on the plate. That's when you know it's ready. It just sort of congeals a little bit. And then you're going to put it in your jars. Make sure, of course, that you've sterilized your jars, but we're not going to do the canning method or anything. This is just going to be a fridge jelly, and it should last in your fridge for about 2 months, but I've never had it last much longer than that, and I like to give to friends and family to enjoy as well, so this should be good in the fridge for a couple of months. Then you can put your lid on your jelly jars and let it cool on the countertop before you put it in the fridge. And you can enjoy this jam over bread, cheese, also over ice cream. It tastes great. And next, we're going to make rose water, also known as rose hydrosol. This is a super easy recipe that you can do with very simple ingredients you probably already have in your kitchen. You don't need a fancy still or anything. So just take a stock pot in whatever size you want. If you have a ton of roses, obviously use a bigger stock pot, but for this, I just had a few handfuls left over, so we're going to use a medium-sized stock pot, and then put some small bowl underneath, and then a slightly larger bowl on top, and then turn your lid upside down, and that's what's going to collect all the rose water, and then fill your lid with ice. So turn your stove on medium, and once it starts not boiling, but it starts heating up a little bit, turn it down to the lowest setting possible. And every time the ice melts, make sure to change it out, take out the water that's melted, put in more ice, and you can leave it for about an hour and a half. With more delicate flowers like this, I don't leave it longer than that because the smell starts to change. Once you've collected a small amount of the rose hydrosol, you can put it in a glass bottle, put it in your fridge, and spray it on your face as a toner or to cool down during the hot summer months. Now let's get into our last recipe, the rose tincture. This is also super simple. All you're going to need is rose petals, vodka, and some rose quartz if you would like to add it. For this tincture, you're going to want to use the petals only as well. But if you get any leaves or stems in there, that's fine. All parts of the rose are edible, so don't worry too much about it. Just make sure that you're not using anything wilted or old. Try and use the freshest possible. And all you're going to do is pack your jar about 3/4 of the way with rose petal. And if you're wondering what this tincture is for, roses are a great heart healer. They're extremely gentle, but they have a very high vibrational energy. They open up your heart chakra, help release any old emotional wounds, and they're also very soothing. They can help calm your nervous system in a very gentle way. Typically, people associate chamomile, lemon balm, skullcap, milky oats with nervines, but roses are also very relaxing. And as you can see, I just filled the jar to the brim with a vodka. You can also use any other kind of high proof alcohol that you choose. And I also added in the rose quartz for just a little extra emotional boost. But if you don't have any, of course, you are free to omit it. This is so simple. Anybody can do this. All you need is fresh roses and vodka. And I let this sit for anywhere from 4 weeks to 2 months, but around 6 weeks is probably the optimal time to strain this. Once you strain it, you can put it into individual dropper bottles for you or your family to use. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye!